The Bahá'í Faith is a cult, allegedly. No, seriously, if Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively said it's true, it might be true. I mean, they both worked with a Bahá'í once or twice. So I don't really care what they said. They're free to believe what they want. That's fine. But let's just take this opportunity to go over how the Bahá'í Faith works and what cult characteristics are. So let's just start at the top. Cult characteristics: a single charismatic leader that demands loyalty. So in the Baha'i Faith, there's elected leadership and there's no clergy. Oh, I gotta cross that one off. That's not cult-like. Cult characteristics: controls members' thoughts and decisions, and the Baha'i Faith encourages independent investigation of truth. There is a sense that truth is one, that there's one truth, but if you don't believe what the Baha'i Faith would say that one truth is, you're free to just disagree. That's fine. Cult characteristics: isolates members from family and friends, and I don't see that with Baha'is at all. I've been a Baha'i now for 2.5 years. My kids go to children's classes. My wife, my daughter, my two younger kids. I'm not trying to turn them into Baha'is, so there's nobody in the organization who's trying to get me to separate from my family. And in fact, if anything, I'll say, I'd love to be involved more because I love the work that the Baha'is are doing in the communities. But I really think my main obligation has to be to my family. And I get nothing but encouragement. Okay. Cults use fear of guilt and coercion. And Baha'is, we emphasize unity and equality. Look at my last video. It was about how in different faiths we can say the same thing using different words, and we might mean the same thing, or we might say we mean different things, but maybe at the back of it all we actually mean the same thing. I don't know. I think all the faiths have very beautiful aspects to them, and if you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Zoroastrian, if you're atheist, I just encourage everybody independently investigate reality and truth, and practice your faith. I think the atheist would probably do well to maybe think outside of the particles. Maybe there's more to life than just particles, more to reality than just particles. But I think that anybody who has a faith, I would just say, lean into it, and lean into it in a way that makes you a better person, a more virtuous person. I don't know. Did I just sound culty? That's kind of the way we think. Let me just move this here. So, cult characteristics are secretive about true practices. The Baha'i Faith is transparent. And pretty much anything you want to know about the Baha'i Faith, it's all online. I don't know what to say about that. And then cults restrict freedom to leave. And yeah, it's obvious in the Baha'i Faith. You don't have to stay a Baha'i. There may be people who are very, very invested in the Baha'i mission, and so then if people decide to leave, maybe there just isn't that same like connectedness in goals in life, and so maybe they don't hang out as much. But I don't know, man. People are free to come and go, to participate, not participate. It's I felt almost no pressure from people to anyway, to think that it would be cult like would just be insane in my experience. Now let's compare it to a commonly used model for cult tactics. It's authoritarian control tactics. The Baha'i Faith, people have individual freedom in daily life, personal choices, and no dietary restrictions beyond alcohol. The BITE model is about behavioral control, information control, thought control, and emotional control. So I don't know. I've never thought about behavioral control. There's laws like certain prayer practices and fasting practices and different things, but Like if I can't or won't do it, that's my decision. Um, there may be reasons why I would hold like my membership rights or relinquish my membership rights, but I'm free to do that. Like there's no shunning of people, um, because we choose not to practice or something like that. Information control, to restrict access to outside sources or compartmentalize information. Man, we study everything. We study all the religions. We study science. We care about art. We do care about politics, although we don't get involved in the type of divisive politics that tears society down. We have ways that we care about interacting with society that build society, create safe spaces for people to thrive and for humanity to unite. Let's see. Black and white thinking, thought control, loaded language, thought stopping, rejects critical thinking. I've seen some Baha'is use like quips and tropes, just like thought, like I said, thought stopping, quips and tropes. Like, I don't know. But that happens in all kinds of theological debates. Um, Baha'is are free to like study as much as they want, be involved in core activities of the faith. Um, you know, um, Firesides, devotionals, um, the Ruhi Institute pioneering. But these are all things that they can do if they want, and they'll be supported to do them if they want. um, if they don't believe in the foundations of the faith, um, that goes back to independent investigation of truth. We're all supposed to independently investigate truth. That's one of the foundational principles of the faith. So that just kind of knocks the thought control tactics out of the way. And then what's the last one down here? Emotional control. Manipulate feelings and instill guilt and fear, love bombing, and then shaming, phobia about leaving. Uh shoot. I mean, I'd say that, anything that happens in Baha'i communities to like be considered a cult would have to rise to the level of what would be different in society. Like if somebody nowadays is like a baseball fan or a football fan, and they start liking another team, maybe they'll go to a different sports bar or something like that to watch their team play. I don't know. Maybe the difference between like Republicans and Democrats, I don't know. Um, I'm getting off track, but what I'm saying is like there's no like bait, like carrot, like, oh, if you don't do this, you're going to hell. Um, Life is about a spiritual journey. We all have the opportunity to progress, and the way that you progress and the way that I progress, um, we're each agents of our own progress, and we can seek different ways to progress spiritually and to grow in virtue and character, and that makes society better. Um, but I don't think you'll see Baha'is like hanging some gloom and doom over you that if you don't join or if you don't believe this way that you're going to have, you know, uh, eternal conscious torment or I don't know. Um, I just don't see it. Sorry, I don't think it's there. But the love bombing part, right? I did. I'll say that in reading some of the transcripts that came out in the lawsuit, I did see certain people participating in love bombing, amongst people on involved in the It Ends With Us movie. I don't remember that being anyone from the Wayfarer parties. Just to put it out there, like I think it's actually somewhat hard to become a Baha'i because they're not gonna do that. They'll invite you and they'll be very kind, courteous, and loving, but yeah, they're not trying to convert you. They're not trying to sell you something that it isn't, and they're not gonna love bomb you and try and you know talk you up just so that you'll join. I don't know, man. What do you think?